So if the Atacama is the driest place on Earth, where did all this snow come from? This week, I'll be exploring northern Chile. First up, it's the desert sights around San Pedro de Atacama, before heading west and up the dramatic Pacific coast. Then it's back for a second helping of high desert, before finally hitting the resort town of Arica for some well-earned R&R. It's day 15 and I'm finally getting out and about. I'd been nursing some mild flu symptoms since hitting the Argentinian high country, which blossomed into a bout of full Iguazu COVID and laid me low for the past few days. And immediately on leaving the hotel, I realise I'm going the wrong way. San Pedro is a small town with a dusty feel that sits oddly with the cost and prevalence of hotels and restaurants here, but I'm sure the desert chic is deliberate. The town's bona fides aside, there's no question that it sits as an oasis in the driest desert on Earth. The local map shows plenty of roads and trails in the area, so the order of the day is to hit my first proper dirt and do a little exploring. I'd seen on the map there was at least one river crossing en route, but in true anticlimactic fashion, it turns out to be more puddle than torrent, at least for today. My inaugural foray off the tarmac proved something of a bust. The valley turns out to be a dead end, at least as far as motorbikes go, so it's a reluctant U-turn and back to the main road. But not to worry, it's early days and there's plenty more dirt to come. Further up the road, there's a viewpoint over the striking Cordillera de la Sal, which in English translates to the far less enchanting Salt Mountain Range. And a quick photo doesn't really do it justice. My next roll of the dirt road dice lands me on a manicured piste that's smoother than most sealed roads in England. But all good things come to an end, particularly in South America. Not that I'm complaining. The road eventually deposits me at the famous magic bus of the Atacama. Just why it's magic or even famous isn't quite clear, but the public transport of yesteryear has become a draw for San Pedro tourists, or at least those with good suspension. Leaving the bus behind, it's a rough loop back towards San Pedro, but the weather and scenery make it all worthwhile. Back on the main track, it's not long before I encounter what is a common problem in the boonies of South America, the impassable road. On closer inspection, this particular blockage has all the hallmarks of being deliberate, but there's no way through, so my only choice is to point my bike in the direction of the main road. I'm certainly not starved for panoramas on my ride back to San Pedro, and a second helping of salty mountain views isn't a bad consolation prize.
There's a river, could have taken us home, but you lost me.
Day 16, and I'm on my final stretch west. With San Pedro in the rearview mirror, I'll be crossing the desert plateau before commencing my descent to the Pacific coast. San Pedro sits at an already impressive 2,450 metres, but I'll be topping out at 3,400 on some very straight roads before ultimately landing at sea level. Leaving behind the mining and energy wealth of Calama and the quality infrastructure that affords, the natural vista briefly takes a back seat to the kind of monuments blokes in big trucks can build when there's a lot of sand to move around. It's then a twisty ride up and through the last of the foothills before I commence my long descent towards the coast.
So your colors, they start, and it's stripping you off your balance. So your hope is gone.
Even the lower areas of the Atacama still average 1,300 metres, so the final 20 k's to the coast are a twisty drop below the clouds. And GoPro's tendency for squashing perspectives means that slope is steeper than it looks. Ultimately, it's not long before I'm rolling into a murky afternoon and the port town of Tocopilla, my stop for the night. Well, I can't say that Tocopilla should rank high on a Chilean bucket list, but it provides for a useful starting point for day 17 and my ride up the dramatic Pacific coast.
Searching for the starlight.
The high desert doesn't so much meet the ocean as collide with it in a dramatic fashion. I can't decide whether the murk and gloom add to the appeal or not, but it's certainly striking. The light at the end of the tunnel also heralds a break in the clouds, and as the weather starts to clear up, the true grandeur of this area is on display. It's a brilliant ride, one of the best of the trip so far. to bid adios to the beautiful coast, and a little dirt detour is required as I swing east and head back up to the Atacama proper. From sea level, it's a sharp corkscrew climb up 1200 metres to the desert plateau, and ultimately the Pan American Highway. And what looks like snow is actually salt, although not your standard table variety, it's potassium nitrate, or saltpeter. Think of it as the black leather jacket to sodium chloride's sensible knitted cardigan. Hitting the first rung of the desert ladder, regular Atacama service is resumed, as is Chile's excellent mineral-funded tarmac. Remnants of bygone mining operations herald a return to the main highway. And it's not long before the Chilean flavour of excellent driving skills makes an appearance. In Argentina, it was mainly car drivers. Chile, as I will find out, seems to have appointed bus drivers as the guardians of this dubious honour. Pan American Highway deposits me smack in the middle of Pothole, a small but pleasant dot in the otherwise featureless landscape. It will be my stop for the night, although not in the hotel I'd originally planned. Day 18, and I bid farewell to last night's bike guardians before continuing my journey north. Today I'm going to be visiting the Humberstone ghost town, then later veering east and heading back to seriously high altitude country. Humberstone is a ghostly monument to a bygone industry, scratched into existence in 1872 as La Palma by the Peru Nitrate Company. The order of the day was extraction of saltpeter. La Palma was never exactly a boomtown, but it wasn't all tumbleweeds either. The party was crashed by the Great Depression, but like a tenacious weed, the town managed to sprout anew and found some success in the late 1930s under new ownership. Buoyed by a fresh lick of paint and a name change to honour the company founder, Humberstone basked in a brief period of prosperity. But the good times were short-lived. After peaking in the early 1940s, Humberstone embarked on a 2-decade decline, which ultimately saw life support being pulled in 1960. 10 years later, Humberstone had a resurrection of sorts, but more zombie than phoenix. The town was declared a Chilean national monument and opened to tourism. Later, in 2005, the site was given a UNESCO Gold Star and a place on the World Heritage List, providing future generations of tourists with a reminder about just how much it would suck being stuck in an early 20th century desert mining town. After a pleasant visit, it's back to the highway for a short stint before I swing east. The ribbon of tarmac cuts through a last stretch of dust devils and flat expanse, but it's not long before the foothills on the horizon morph into my ascent back to the high Andes.
All of these places I've been, they don't feel like forever.
A truck in the middle of the road is a herald of surfaces still to come. Mining money may have bought Chile many great road surfaces, but as I learn, this is still South America, so nothing is guaranteed.
I've searched for gold and I've uncovered all kinds of treasure, but I take it all and I give.
After several rounds of Pothole Slalom, this particular nasty specimen, camouflaged by a mini crest, appears to be sent to test both my ABS and my nerves. The GoPro hides just how deep that baby was, but it also serves as a timely reminder to take it easy on these high altitude roads. potholes and occasional gravel stretches do their best to distract me from the stunning landscape, but only with moderate success.
The great unknown. There's a place I'm welcome in. There's a place I know I'm called a friend. There's a place that I'm never alone. There's a place called home.
After topping out at 4,000 meters, the last stretch of refreshingly smooth tarmac takes me to the tiny town of Colchane, my stop for the night. It's a postage stamp kind of a place, only a stone's throw from Bolivia, and the subtle giveaway that Colchane is a border town is a couple of trucks waiting to cross.
Trading my time for adventure. Yeah, I've seen the world and I know what it's got to give.
Fortunately, with the magic of motorbikes, this massive tailback is of little concern to me.
But I know where I came from. Oh.
My plan had been to stay in the well-regarded Inkataki hostel, but it wasn't to be. No booking, no dice. Instead, I'm told to try the hostel across the road, which I take to mean is Hostel Hachalta. It's not until later that I realised they meant the much nicer Hotel Isluga, slightly down the road. One reason for my confusion is, from the outside, Hostel Hachalta looks good, but it turns out it's all but closed down. I'm offered a room nonetheless. Clearly the owner will take what he can get, but at least it's cheap, and it beats sleeping in a truck. The light of day 19 makes it clear why this hostel is on life support. The bathrooms wouldn't charm a troll, the only reliable source of heat is whatever you bring with you, and it seems the hamsters at the local power station clock off around 8 PM. Reading by flickering iPhone light just doesn't have much romantic appeal. Knackered from no sleep, caused in part by the crushing weight of the sheer number of blankets you need to keep warm at 4,000 meters in a room with no heating, I head off nonetheless to explore the backcountry route to Chile's high-altitude national parks.
A place called home.
As rubber hits gravel, I'm too distracted by the scenery to notice that Garmin has served up another of its special routes. It turns out that I'm not on the road to the national parks, rather a small track mainly used by llamas and the occasional farmer. Further on, the road turns out to be impassable. And most frustratingly, a GoPro fail means I didn't end up filming any of it. Returning to the main road, Garmin continues to be an awkward travel companion by not being particularly forthcoming with alternative routes. But with the magic of YouTube, I'm back on the main road. Light on sleep and still not 100% post-COVID, I decided to head back down to the Pan American Highway and make directly for Arica for a well-deserved break in a decent hotel. At lower altitudes, the Atacama stretches out like a dun canvas, scribbled occasionally with a windswept valley or the markings of a dry riverbed, but it's a pleasant ride. It's also a good thing I filled up before heading north. This stretch of highway is nearly 270 k's without a petrol station. Eventually, the road descends into a stunning dune valley. It may not have quite the charm of the high-altitude desert, but not a bad consolation prize as far as epic rides go. However, it is, as the thunderous clap of passing trucks reminds, a massive wind tunnel. I'm not sure what it is with burnt out trucks on the side of the road in Chile, but this one marks the climb back to the desert plateau and its remaining valleys before beginning the final descent into Arica. Arica itself is wedged like a stray pistachio between the unforgiving dunes of the Atacama and the Pacific's salty embrace. It's northern Chile's answer to Land's End, only with more sand. It seems pleasant enough, and so the plan is to take a couple of days off to recuperate before heading to Peru. border crossings, sand, trucks, dunes, checkpoints, volcanoes, more desert, and switchbacks.